We have an interesting discussion today which is related to some Six Sigma application questions. You have a background in manufacturing and then later moved to service sector.
Yeah.
What are typically the differences that you have noticed when we talk about application of quality tools or Six Sigma techniques in manufacturing as compared to services?
Uh, I I had worked in manufacturing sector for around 12 years before moving on to services sector. The typical thing that I have seen is that because every day the production is going on, the people are collecting, a lot of data is getting collected. So naturally, the even at the shop floor level, the employees are much more aware about the quality techniques, much more aware about the data part, what are the different measurement systems, what are the how the data is getting collected, where that is going to be used, how to analyze that data. So that knowledge is much more there in the manufacturing sector. Whereas in the services sector, if you see, generally on the shop floor or on the ground level, the people do not have that much access to data. Data is either automatically getting collected through automated means, and the access to that data is not available at the lower level. So the data which is getting collected is only a limited number of people have access to that data. They do all the analysis part, they take the decisions, and then those decisions are driven down the organization. Whereas in manufacturing, generally the ideas come from the shop floor level people because they are the person who are dealing day in and day out with the problems. So the approach to the quality initiatives, you will see that in manufacturing a lot of quality teams are formed. They take the decisions, they give the ideas. There are Kaizens teams that are getting formed, and that drives the organization towards taking the different projects and other things. Whereas in services sector, it is the other way around. It is from the top side, they identify the problems, and that goes down the organization. So that is one big difference that I have noticed.
And one big reason for that realization at the shop floor level is the presence or the tangibility of the quality department in manufacturing and the tangibility of the quality or any service assurance department in the service industry.
Correct.
A quality department in manufacturing, every shop floor guy probably knows how many defectives or how many defects does he produce or his machine produces in a month or in a week or in a day. How many people in the service industry actually worry that the calls that they're taking or the packages that they're moving is meeting the number of hours, minutes, time that is actually set up for it, and who's checking that? They don't see a quality guy sitting besides them who's doing a stopwatch checking or something. They don't see that. So very often what's happening is because of this intangibility in the service sector of the quality department, a lot of good initiatives, which I would say the bottom guys have the ideas, and we have seen in FedEx, people who have worked for 20-30 years emerge as very good SMEs in their own thing, in their own products knowledge and how to deliver a particular shipment and all of that. But very often what happens is the data that is collected and that is analyzed, the right person has to ask them the right questions. That's when they realize that. So yes, it's not like in the manufacturing where a shop floor guy can go to the manager and say that, if you change this, you'll get these many little defects or you'll save that much overheads. Here it happens more in terms of that how fast I can get the work done. And very often at that stage itself, the quality guy doesn't know about it. He is sitting in a different office. He is checking when did the packages get delivered, or did my customers give us a good CSAT score. And it's only when the CSAT score and all of that is taken. So the important thing in the service industry that probably can learn from the manufacturing is if these things can have dashboards, and if the service assurance part and if the end product of how good they are can be displayed in some ways to them, then you will have more initiatives and less resistance to the change that comes with the Six Sigma project. So that's
Yeah, I think very good points as far as the differences in service and manufacturing situations are concerned. My next question is about how do you visualize application of Six Sigma techniques in the FedEx or any similar industry which is into cargo movement?
Our company, at the global level, a program has been initiated called quality driven management, in which the top management is very much focused on fact based decision making. It's not that right now the decisions are not being taken on based on facts, but that is only available, as I said earlier, up to a certain level. Right now the company wants that to be driven to the bottom level also. All people should have access to data. So because of that, a number of means the visualization of what are the different key performance indicators, those are getting collected. They are getting displayed at various offices that we have all across the country. So that way the management is trying to at least first sensitize the ground level people about what are the key performance indicators and why are they important. Once that phase is done, after that would start the baselining phase, where we would tell them, means the company would be telling them, or the executives would be telling them that right now we are at this particular level. 1% improvement in this particular index would result in so much of savings, or so much of reduction in cost, or so much increase in revenue. So depending upon that, there would be different projects that would be taken up. So once those projects are taken up, then the improvement phase will come in. So that would be the measure phase. That in this phase we are just defining what is our baseline. From that baseline, then we would be taking up projects. There would be different techniques that would be applied, like we have learned here in Black Belt. So that all that knowledge will come into picture. Then we would take up different projects, work on them, and then derive the benefits out of them. And then, because every process has an inherent characteristics that if it is left unattended, it will tend to go back to its normal state. So to put the controls mechanisms into place so that that doesn't happen, and the benefits that we have received over time, those are sustained. So that initiative is also going to start in. And similarly, I think that today in India, because in India you have around 2,300, if I'm not mistaken, number of small cargo companies or courier companies, out of which only means you can count it on fingertips. Those are the only companies which have good measurement systems in place. So they are able to measure that what are their defectives, how many number of shipments are getting lost, getting damaged, not getting delivered on time, and all those parameters. But the majority of the companies don't have that infrastructure in place. So there is a lot of waste and non-value added processes that are there in this industry. So if every industry starts collecting that particular data, starts putting money right now into resources who are able to take these quality initiatives in their company, I think there is a lot to be gained in this particular industry in the coming times.
And historically, our market, especially on the logistics sector, the express transportation sector, the Indian market before the economic boom and during the economic boom of so many years, when all the multinationals and everybody is coming into the market, traditionally the domestic Indian express movement has been very volume driven. Therefore, the scope of Six Sigma is so enormous in this industry, because historically, since it was volume driven, the impetus on quality was that much less. Now you are having companies that are basically Six Sigma companies who are giving their stuff to the logistics companies and all, and they expect the same levels, the same processes. So that is going to definitely, number one, be one of the driving factors why that has to come up in a big way. And the second one is that because it was volume driven and not so service driven, there will be a lot of value additions, because now companies like FedEx, which are typically quality driven as well, when they try to come to the domestic sector and they're launching their products in, they're finding that they have to have a balancing effect, because your revenues in the domestic sector and the international sector can be very different because of the various factors, distances and all. So in the domestic sector, while you have to be cost effective, while you have to keep your eye on the volumes and the revenues, but you have to find a way of being able to be there on the service as well. Because slowly the industry is moving away from, like Vivek said, 2,300 cargo movers. The industry is slowly moving away to something they call the logistics partner. And the moment a customer like General Motors or General Electric, they sign up a company for being their logistics partner, they have very clear goals, and they are like, our logistics is going to get managed by you, and this is what we want year on year. And their typical questions are year on year productivity improvement, year on year improvement in cost, improvement in quality, this much percent improvement in service, TAT, all of that. So now with the lean with the logistics partner concept gaining ground now, and people coming from abroad for car manufacturing, and all of this big industries coming in, and slowly like FedEx is becoming a globalization is happening. So that's why this industry is going to see an enormous boom of Six Sigma projects in the coming years, because otherwise companies that are in the domestic sector of movement will find it extremely difficult to survive and be able to perform as per the standards that their customers require them to.
I would like to give this message to all people who are watching this video, to tell them that see, by intuition you can only solve, say, 80% of the problems, but there would be times when that 80% is not sufficient. There are many areas in which our intuition and our past knowledge comes to a halt. After that comes the area where we have to use advanced techniques and to solve the problems and to identify the areas for improvement. Like you know that going from 60% to 90% is easy, but moving from 90 to 91% becomes that much difficult. So right now is the stage when, because of this enormous competition, many of the companies have already initiated the quality drives. They have come to a level. Now the stabilization phase is coming in, and now to gain 1 extra % improvement in the productivity, people have to know about the advanced techniques.
One thing that guys in the industry know about, because it's not a very sophisticated tool, is the Pareto diagram, which is a very famous one. And I just want to cite this example, that what we get by intuition at times could be those 80% of the factors that only make 20% of the difference. What we probably are missing out is that just 5%, I won't even say 20% of the factors, maybe just those 5% of the factors, which if we rectify, we'll not have to probably worry about the 80% of the factors giving us just 20% of improvement. So according to me, Six Sigma is extremely good for the logistics sector, transportation, express transportation, and the typical application would be all the time trying to find those 5% or 10% of those factors. And for us, the important thing is use Six Sigma, use black belt techniques, and get to that critical 1 or 2x that's going to make your goals a lot easier and a lot simpler to attain. That's what it's all about.
Thank you both of you for sharing your views on this specific industry, and best of luck for your Six Sigma journey.
Thank you.